Venom Crash showing off what they got on Summer Split. That was an interesting win, although it was fairly interesting in the middle of the game. I'm using this word specifically because of what happened. But let's talk about expectations. That bot line. We saw the Caitlyn and Leon, and we were like, oh, this is a killer line going versus Nautilus in Ziggs. And somehow the Caitlyn wasn't shining as much as we supposed she would.
I think we've gotten quite used to seeing Caitlyn in a particular archetype, which is Caitlyn plus range support, the Lux, the Karma, all about lane domination, keep the enemy bot lane under tower and down at about 20% HP so they cannot play the game. And if that goes wrong, then the Caitlyn looks a bit anemic and falls off a cliff. And we got a little bit worried about that this game where the Caitlyn and the Leona were caught under the tower. They'd not gone for range support, they'd gone for more of an engage option. Didn't really find much in the way of engage, and then effectively just let this Ziggs get towards a mid-game with a notable advantage in a couple plates, and that got a little bit worrying, at least for the first 20-odd minutes of the game.
And it looked like it was able to, like, Venom Crest were able to force Verdant to play before they highlighted it on items. It seemed like Ivan was not keen to fight. It was like, oh, I don't have any sort of items to fight you guys. So it seems like Venom Crest were in control of the pace of the game, correct? Like,
I think for the first 25, 26 minutes, Venom Crest were in pretty much full control. They were doing what they wanted. They had that nice counter move on the top lane where Lenny did what Lenny did. He's still one of the best tops in the league, I think. Outplayed a gank, and from that, they seemed very much in control. And then after the second Baron, they had that one bomber fight where it was actually the side of Verdant who were able to spend a couple minutes, slow down the game, and then win that one fight. And then all of a sudden, I genuinely thought Verdant would come back into it. It was just one fight where they positioned horrifically, I might add, completely getting the fight wrong, and that cost them the whole game. But I thought they were genuinely back to a 50-50 game state after they had 20 very rough minutes.
you know what? Let's talk with someone from Venom Crest so they can explain to us what happened specifically on that part where they lost control of the game. Together with us, we have Simpy, the support, coming in from Venom Crest for the interview. Pleasure to meet you, a new face. Welcome to the league. How are you doing with the win?
Hello everyone. I'm pretty happy, I would say. I mean, and yeah, like this specific int play that we had on mid. I mean, it was a bit random, but happens, I guess.
Part of the plan. Let's call it part of the plan. So my question to you is, okay, you see the Nautilus in Ziggs. You're supposed to push the bot line to get control, but you also see a Caitlyn and Leona. Were you expecting the line to go as it went? You in control, or were you like, oh, this could be a 50-50?
I mean, I cannot say much, but I think like we kind of know he was gonna play Caitlyn, like judging from the ones. So Ziggs is always good into Kate, even in the past. And also like these lanes tend to go like the AD carry is better at early game, but once the mage hits Lost Chapter, he can just start pushing or being alone in lane even. Specifically, Ziggs is better, you know, because he has the ult, so it's harder to dive him. And I can roam around the map and do plays, so yeah, I think
I like that, because you're giving me a small hint that you like to roam in the map, and as soon as I get someone new in the league, I'm like, I need to know who's this individual. So tell me, what is your play style? What do you prefer in League of Legends? How do I get to know you? You and the fans that we want to get to know you. What's your play style?
I mean, honestly, I like more to play enchanters and things like this, you know. But if it's the good angle, but engagers are fine, and I like to impact the map as well a lot if I can. Like it feels way different when you play an engager. Like you feel you have control over the game compared to playing an enchanter. But I mean, both are fine. I like both. Like this.
Simpy, come on. Hit me with, do you play Yumi? Simpy.
I play if I'm forced to, okay? If not, I do not play.
You don't play it anymore. You're done with that sort of life, right?
Yeah,
You're healed. So I also talked with your coach, and one word specific that we used on the interview was solo queueness, which is that little part of you that it's like, hey, we can trade. Hey, we can win. Hey, I own solo queues, so I can do this. Do you think the team has a lot of it, and Lenny has to step in and say, guys, calm down, chill, don't do it? or how's the communication? Because I see a little devil smile in your face. Tell me.
I mean, you said Lenny, right? I mean, I think like Lenny is like the most. I mean, maybe with Fierce, they're the most crazy ones in the team. Like for example, this mid play that happened that we lost the fight. It was due to Lenny as well. Like he called to go, so it's on him. But yeah, I mean, happens. I don't know. I think sometimes we play a bit too. Yeah, but we are working on.
Hey, pleasure to meet you, Sip. It was a lovely game, and congratulations on the victory. Let's see if we get to meet each other along the line, and best of luck.
Sure. Thank you for the interview. Good luck.
I love that. Hey, you have the experience on the team, so probably you guys could have stepped out. They were like, no, it was the experience that put us in that position. It is what it is. At the end of the day, it is what it is. It is what it is. I like the fact that everybody's quiet after this.
I mean, that's kind of you called him out on it. It's like, look, well, what about this kind of solo queue element? And people have to call him out, like, yeah, like they know where that. But in fairness, this is like something like what we expected. And I'll refer back again to that similar rags to riches style of transformation for a team like Ruddy last split, right? Where at the beginning of the split we saw a lot of very good individual moments, but not a lot of cohesion, and people would get individual leads and then throw the moments later. I'm thinking like Alex on the Aurelia, that kind of thing. We've seen teams with good, like, instincts, killer instincts, honed into something a lot more consistent over the course of a split. And Venomcrest starting off with a win that felt pretty good until they messed it up a little bit is a good sign, if nothing else.
Oh, this should wrap up the game that we just had, which leads us on to the next one. DMG versus Lightside Duckling. I see that smile. I see the solo cuteness of the desk. So tell me, why is this so interesting? What's about this game?
I did get threatened on Twitter though that my friend DMG was about to be gone if I didn't advertise this a little bit. I got this lovely jersey, even got Duckling on the back.
We have a Portuguese player
on the back.
Wow!
I mean, look, Danish flag as well right there. Let's go. Regardless, though, DMG. I'm very excited for this, right? Obviously, I've gotten to not only cast the DMG roster up in NLC Div 1, but as I also work on the NLC RPS, I've gotten to check in with how that Danish division is doing. And for this past year, the Danish division has been, I think, in general, the best team in the League Championship Denmark. This team was run by manager Devils. He's now been promoted to COO of not only DMG Denmark, but DMG as a whole, and has gotten to build this roster. The two rosters he built in Denmark were very promising, and I especially think the second one had so much promise that you didn't quite get fulfilled. Now, he's teamed up with Coach Kuipert, who, through your interview I watched today, Ashram, seems very competent at doing what DMG wants to do. Take 5 rookies, or not straight rookies, but players with little to no experience, and then shape them into stars that they can send along the way. So I feel like this roster, despite not having many names, the big one is really Namix, who's done well in the scene before. Yeah, he's been around, but other than that, it is still quite new talent. I think they now might have the coaching staff and the backing to succeed and grow into what I know they can. So I'm really excited. Despite there being many unknown factors, I have faith in their backroom staff, and I think that's crucial if you want to do this kind of team, where you take talent and develop it and then let them go to bigger and better pastures in the future.
I like that, Duckling, because you're bringing a point that I wanted to toss to you as well, initialize the fact that it's not only a team, but an entire team behind the players, and that brings a lot into the table. I look at you, initialize, with someone that has like a good IQ, probably enough to open a pickle jar, but it's really good when you have that sort of composition, when you have the players. I don't know why I said the players.
Yeah, you're right, that's what it takes. We got high IQ to understand pickle jar mechanics, Thanks for the compliment, I think. What a high IQ question,
I'm the reason why shampoo bottles ever don't drink it. So initialize. It's really important to have an entire team behind the team itself, right? And this is so good from them.
I mean, exactly that. I mean, obviously, Duckling called out the new CEO. Obviously, someone like Tom Kick is someone we both know, Archram, who's one of the owners of that team. Someone I've got a lot of respect for, and I've seen him across a number of esports. I still cast him, by the way, on an upcoming game. He's still playing professionally, but he's at other places. But like, there is a lot of love for esports and a knowledge of esports and a desire to make something of this, particularly from that Nordic scene. And I think that's really exciting to watch. watch from DMG.
Yeah,
So we have DMG, but tell me, Duckling.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about light side, and
Exactly.
light side obviously a completely new roster, and I just want to throw this in there. It will be exciting to see their top lane that they just let go now on DMG, Bucci. He's playing up against his former team immediately to kick off this split. But the new light side roster, to me, is very interesting, right? It's a young Danish top laner with, yet again, not much experience, and then they've paired him with probably, in terms of players who are still playing competitively, one of the, like a handful of players who played since 2017, Bart Holdy, OG Danish player. He won the Danish League 5 years ago now, and has played there even a couple of years before that. He's one of the most knowledgeable and veteran players that we have still playing today in our scene. And I think when you want to do this, you know, take a couple of rookies, throw them in. He's someone who can definitely be the glue of the team. I'm not expecting standout performances, but I'm expecting Bart Holdy to be a father figure to this team and a leader that can help them push them the right direction. So really excited to see him back.
If I can stand on that as well, it's not just Bartoli coming up, it's also Fast-Legged joining them. They were both playing on Venom Crest Serpents. Yeah. They were playing on the Academy team for Venom Crest. They've come up as a jungle support duo, which is really good news. You're looking at Sumi and Fruity Fresh. Again, we're over on Rich Gang, who did very well in Division 2 of NLC, coming up as two solid carries. But keeping some of these combos together, particularly jungle support, yes, you're starting a new roster, but that's a really key thing to do.
I want to highlight something before you talk, Duckling, that we installed an artificial intelligence in NLC to count whenever you say the word Danish. So far in the broadcast, you reached 17.
Nah, that's a joke. That surely kept
As how old you are, by the way. But no, I just wanted to highlight this one. But one thing, take it as you want, Duckling. I don't know if you take it as you want. It's the fact that Denmark brings so much talent, like they brew really interesting talents, despite the fact that you're a small country in terms of population, but you're capable of bringing such good talent for a lot of different games, not only League of Legends. When you go to the Pew Pew game, you know, I'm not at liberty to say the name. When you go to that one, a lot of powerful players are from Denmark. So you're not a lot, but when you show up, you guys are quite good. And I'm wondering what happened to you. Like, you were supposed to be... But tell me that.
I was really, really enjoying that praise. And I come in here every week and I get
That was
told,
a great bust.
I
appreciated that.
I come in here and get told I'm 5 years old. Clearly, I still have time
7,
to change things.
Clearly, the IQ
7.
needs to be dropped down.
So my point is, Ashram, I still have time to fulfill my potential, unlike you, who are 2 steps away from the grave. So the main point is, though,
Is that a threat? Do we need to get drops of protection?
I went to make it public. It was my birthday a week ago. I went to 29. I'm almost 30. Calm down, okay? I'm not about to die. I'm 1 year away from 30. Calm down.
So, I really do like your point, though. I think Denmark, in general sports and esports have been very good at developing talent. Yeah. But for me, though, that's actually not the highlight of this roster. I'm really excited to see Sumi and Fruity Fresh step in because they just performed very well on Rich Gang. Rich Gang is a very storied Norwegian organization playing in the national scene down there in Norway, or up there in Norway it is for me. I'm in Denmark, you know. And the main thing is, though, Fruity Fresh, I'm very excited to see him take the step. He is a master cooker. He's playing Hui, Aurelion Sol, Swain, AD carries. I think they can have some spicy drafts, and I'm really excited to get to see that. And hopefully it becomes chaos combined with a bit of solidity and stability with Bart Holdy and Fast being the 2 veterans.
Okay, I have to ask though. DMG are a Norwegian organization with 3 Swedish players. Do you lose like Danish citizenship for supporting too many Swedes? Because you were saying you're quite good friends with them. Isn't that a problem from you and your Danish pride point of view? Wrong side of the bridge.
Oh,
no.
Oh, that hit a spot.
That's actually.
Go on, say this for all the Danish fans out there. Go on, make it clear.
He's at loss for words. This is the first time. He can't even climb anymore.
The thing is,
we still
have DMG still has a full Danish team playing in the League Championship Denmark.
That's great.
And great. I wouldn't be supporting them if they hadn't added the little Danish flag here on
I'm hearing a lot of excuses. He'd lose a TV debate. That's all I'm saying.
Excuses.
You lost. You lost
I
the
don't have a sorry
situation.
excuse of a country.
I'm calling it right now. Kedril, come in. Take his PC away. It's time.
Take his
Kedril
PC.
gives
That's not
and
what
Kedril
Kedril does.
takes.
He gives
That's
PC.
what Mark.
He doesn't come
Mark's
and
in
take
PC removal now. He stopped streaming.
Yeah.
Kedril's
Kedril
out.
just
can
shows
give and he
someone they
also
broadcast,
takes
takes
away,
my
okay?
PC.
He's life and death of esports. Now, look into light side. That is really interesting. The fact that they can play different compositions. In my opinion, at least in my opinion, and I'm just a host, so grain of salt, it's the fact that light side in Spring Split, I was so excited. I was so excited about them, and they were so close, but the light just went to another side out of a sudden. I'm really excited about this new roster because it seems like they can play every sort of play style before they go into the Rift. I got that information, and that's what I'm most curious about. Light side playing something different and getting people off guard.
Yeah, I think as well. Light
Okay,
side
you're
last
brewing.
split came with certain expectations of themselves,
Yeah.
and obviously, you heard it. Obviously, they had a rough opening couple of weeks, and then we kind of had our opinions of them from the casting team. And they were like, "Guys, you've got the wrong opinion. We're definitely better than this, and actually, we think you're really wrong, and we have an issue with this. Even like we want to prove you wrong." And they got so close, and then they got so close. You're like, and we were beginning to believe, and then it never really quite worked out towards the end of the split, and I think it ended up being that dark horse run, that ability to try and prove us wrong didn't quite happen the way they were hoping for. We are edging towards picks and bans now, I think. But apparently there's a
Don't
slight
worry,
issue.
there's a slight
We're almost there.
issue. The champions are being picked, and as soon
They're all
as
just picking
apparently we
Luxon,
go
man.
to
This is
the other
crazy.
side, it will be updated. Let's just wait to see the third pick. You won't see it, but as soon as we jump into the next one,
Aha.
next round, maybe we'll get a hold of the champions. We do know the band so far. It seems like it's going to be the stable ones as we go through the first day of Summer Split. We go on to light side. And don't worry, we'll go back and we'll jump back into champion select as soon as we got the champions. But I'm just letting you know that 3 of them already was picked.
I really want to go back to light side here, right? Because we've talked
To
so much
Denmark.
about the jungle support coming from Venom Crest Academy over in the UK, UKLC, the Four Nations, I do believe it's called now, and no longer the UKLC. Sumi and Fruity Fresh coming from Division 2 Rich Gangsters, but so little has been said about Elijah, and I'm really excited to see what this young Danish top laner can bring. I noted down one of his most notable experiences being finishing 7th in the NLC Division 2. That isn't something that necessarily screams success, but yet again, you've taken him into a roster with veterans, someone who's played in the NLC Division 1 before in Fast Select, who I thought was a very, very, decent support for our level. Even back then when the league, I think as a whole, had a higher level in terms of the big teams we had in NLC. I think you're taking 2 exciting talents from NLC Division 2, so surely this Elijah guy has just something about him other than him just being Danish. And I'm really excited to see what he shows up with, because he is kind of the Joker here. He could end up being a great tank player, he could end up being a great engage, carry top laner, who really knows, but I'm really excited to see what he offers as well, and I don't think we can underestimate him.
I'll empower your statement with the fact that sometimes you have someone that is playing on a specific part where he can't shine and he just needs a hand. He just needs a light towards the right side. For instance, we were talking with Don Jake on the interview on that big segment that we have online. If you guys want to check on Twitter, it's the fact that, hey, we were like a meme team on 3rd division and we couldn't do it. We couldn't climb. We had to buy our spot on Division 1 and then build a proper team from rookies that I believe they were going to make it. And they landed the 2nd place in the league. So sometimes that's all you need, to someone get a hold of you and like, hey, you have talent, you have potential, dude, jump on in, I'll guide you. And maybe that Danish blood, yada yada, Denmark, maybe that's enough for him. Talking about picks, I'm going to highlight, we have Wei, Xante, and Zeri on the blue side for DMG. On the other side, we have Ziggs and Sejuani. I'm going to land you the picks as we go through print screens because we have that little issue, and we can analyze it through this situation.
Yeah. So with those picks locked in, I think it's interesting. We're seeing another Sejuani Ziggs combo. We saw that last game, and it works out pretty nicely. Sejuani locks him down. Ziggs presses R afterwards. People generally suffer. It's a fairly solid combo. Looks like the picks after that were the Varus and the Nautilus to go alongside the Ziggs and the Sejuani, which means that's likely going to be the Ziggs mid. But again, it's more pick, it's more burst. On the other side, they've gone for the Vi and the Thresh to lock in alongside some of the other stuff. So I guess it wasn't the Zeri, and that was just a hover. So it's looking like what
Yeah.
they've done is Vi plus Thresh plus Cassante is really good lockdown. And the reason Vi plus Hui is really good, because Vi can fly miles and miles and miles away, and Hui can still follow up with the QW in particular. That's every boss.
And exactly, right? I mean, the two carries you have right now on the Lunkus Light side roster are very immobile. Yes, the 6 has the W, so Judge should try and do something, but...
He's on!
Yeah.
He's on! Oh, I was waiting for this pick, and it's for your Danish player, Tryndamere.
So, see, that's what I was hoping for, right?
He's so powerful right now.
I discussed it a bit, that the fact that Sumi and Fruity Fresh, in particular Fruity Fresh, is down to playing anything. Same kind of goes to Sumi, who's now playing the Tryndamere mid lane. That takes the Varus, who I initially thought by the screenshot we got, who would be AD carry, thrown to the top lane for the young Danish rookie, Elijah. That's crazy. That's genuinely crazy. This draft is just... Obviously, with
wild.
the technical
I
issues,
love this.
it's I haven't had that much time to consider,
So,
but
yeah,
that is that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, we'll hold on that, because it could be the Tryndamere top and then the Ziggs mids. We'll wait. So, but assuming it is what it is, Varus top was something that Kerberos, who is a pretty well-known former player of the NLC, does a lot of streaming, kind of started off happening top lane. Where you basically go tank Varus top, and it's obnoxious as hell. Things like the... it's the one where you build the double bows that go into it. Terminus and Jackshow is really, really good as a combo, and then you add in Jackshow with that, very obnoxious. So it could well be a Varus top that we've seen like get a lot of damage and still be very tanky, and then the Tryndamere mid into that matchup could be a bit miserable for the Hui, because what does Hui do to stop the Tryndamere? Not a lot, aside from hitting your QE.
Yeah.
That Grim Visage, that's about it.
You have a
E
fear, right?
It's quite important. Yeah, you have the fear, you have the stun, you have some tools, but I don't know if it's enough, and Tryndamere is in such a good position. Well, let's see what's going to happen as we jump into the second game, tossing into the casters, Foxtrot and Hippran. It's up to you.
Thank you very much, Archer. Hello and welcome back to the cast desk. Getting ready to go into our second game of the day, the Tryndamere mid. That is a spicy one getting pulled out here. Foxy, I'd like your thoughts on this one. A penny for your thoughts, mate.
Just a penny, that worth far more than that. No, that would be a scam, actually. So Tryndamere mid obviously is a little bit of an odd one there, but as a champion that really likes crits, he's benefited a lot from the new item overhaul that happened in between splits here. So that's cool. He's got some really cool itemization there, but also I think he's often picked specifically into these like squishy, low mobility champions, and there's a Hui on the other team. That's going to be his lane opponent. So pretty simple stuff where obviously Hui still range can harass Tryndamere down, but once you get through the first kind of 6 levels, at any point during the game, you just spin towards Hui, press R, and that's that. Hui doesn't actually have a huge amount of self-peel. Like he's got like a fear and he can speed himself up a little bit, but it's nothing like really insane like compared to some other champions like Syndra, for example. Tryndamere spins on Syndra, puts on the Q, scatters away, boom, done. That's disengaged, it's sorted, it's over, right? So I think it's going to be quite a unique pick into the Hui specifically, and then as the game goes on, you're able to go into a side lane and play split push.
Well, let's find out how it's going to go as we're going to throw ourselves into the second game of the day. Very excited for this one. A lot of the Ziggs bot as well. A lot of people really feeling this at the moment. No Caitlyn, no Tristana this time, as both taken off the board by DMG. Oh, no, we're coming back to us. Hello. Sorry, if you, obviously, first day of the season, a few teething issues, so, yeah. Where do you want to go with this, Foxy? I mean,
I don't know, there's not much to say.
No.
The players haven't really gone anywhere just yet. We can talk a little bit more about the Tryndamere, to be honest. Like, I am really curious to see how this one's going to play out. I do think, Hui is a champion that really has risen up in popularity and does like an insane amount of damage and a lot of bursts. And that really is his defense, is his ability to just blow people up. And in team fights, he has the ultimate, that spreads out and then just explodes and does a huge amount as well.
Yeah.
And like I say, his self-peeling tools, it's quite difficult when it's all skill shots as well. It can be something that you can get punished for. So you can see here, Sumi specifically, he's gone for the ghost as well, which I think is really, really important. Exactly, right? You can just run people down, and as soon as level 6 gets chucked down from Tryndamere, that is something that you can look to go for. Endless plays, honestly, in that mid side. I do think as well, just to round off this point, junglers play a lot of part into this, trying to get that Tryndamere to survive until level 6.
Yeah.
But also, Sejuani, we know how she matches up with melee champions, right?
It's
how her
brutal,
passive works. Exactly. So she can. Melee champions will stack up the stun from range, basically, and it's a really nice combo. So yeah, a lot of attention into the mid side of the map. I would expect this game so far around, and let's see if Sumi can pull it off here on this mid Tryndamere.
I will say the Tryndamere in general is going to be interesting to watch. I know we're on this for a bit. We will get off this in a moment, guys. But I will say, versus the Hwei, it sounds like on paper it's actually quite a good matchup because you'll be able to just jump into Hwei's face. And Hwei really struggles when champs get in their face. It's why things like LeBlanc, Zed, all of these kind of like assassin characters have such good matchups because they can just jump into Hwei's face and there's not really much you can do about it. He does have one key tool which can make these matchups quite annoying at times, and that is the fear. Never underestimate how long that fear lasts. It feels like it goes on forever. So that's going to be a major thing to keep our eyes on going forwards. But for now, obviously, it's not the only pretty annoying lane. I think Bucci's in for a pretty rough one early into Elijah here with the Varus top lane already building up a CS lead, and it's just going to play to be annoying. As you can see there, Sumi misses the fear. Skate Rock misses the fear onto Sumi, and Sumi able to dodge that. Has that Q, so if he gets too low, can just press that and get a big old heal off as well, as I believe he's just done that. And Elijah just able to really control this top lane. Bucci just has to play this safe and careful.
I want to see what kind of build the Varus in the top side decides to go with this game. He's recalling early, so that might just be a tier if he wants to go towards the Manamune. That is a really early recall for him. No, it's going to be shoes instead. Okay, so that's not going to rat out his build just yet. But there are a few things to do, like Initialize said on the desk. Terminus, kind of more like a tanky option. Kerberos has done some really disgusting things, like Jack Show being an item option as well on him in that top side. Whether he goes for that, or if he goes for a more like a lethality kind of traditional Varus build, because his intention isn't really to be a top laner throughout the whole game, right? That could maybe actually be delegated over to the Tryndamere, which is more like what you would expect coming out of lane phase, right? So
yeah,
that is interesting to see how that one plays out, and to see how these lane assignments especially get played out. Because even if you look in the bot side with Ziggs, right, that's a champion that can solo lane a little bit as well, or at least mid and catch waves. Because Ziggs is a mid laner too, right? So it's like you can just, these lane assignments go all over the place as this game goes on, and it does make it a little bit hard to execute though from Lightside's perspective. But a very interesting draft so far here in this game.
I personally lean towards the Terminus and the ability to actually kind of fill in as an ADC, because obviously you are lacking that at this point. As Sumi jumping in onto Skate Rock, they're getting all the damage off of the fast leg. Fast leg slows them down. They're going to get first blood picked up there for Bitsy. If Sumi just putting as much damage down as possible, but he is going low. Is going to get the E back to keep him alive. Sumi still has the flash, and they are able to just about get out of that one, but that was hairy for Lightside.
And Fastleg definitely didn't expect to have 3-man collapse in that bush this early on into the game, but there it is. A lot of attention, I said, towards the mid side of the map, and we've already got it going through here 4 minutes into the game. Unfortunately for Lightside, it is going to be DMG who come out on top, and the Hwei especially as well here. A little bit of pressure being relieved, and don't underestimate the value of that ghost on Tryndamere as well, right? That thing being blown really does, for an offensive tool at least, enable Tryndamere to run down Hwei. So that's a good, 2 and a bit minute. I can't remember the cooldown of Ghost. It's relatively short, compared to Flash. But it's a bit of time here for Skate Rock to be safe against that Trynd.
Yeah, and that's big because you know, that level 6 mark's coming up. Sumi will probably have Ghost by the time level 6 comes in, but Skate Rot has his teleport, is probably looking to get a Lost Chapter as soon as possible. Once that comes in, they'll be able to kind of spam on the wave, melt through it. As you can see, using the mini Rumble ult already, it's going to be pretty big for just being able to hold Sumi at an arm's length, and that's what you want to be doing on a mage versus, you know, a very aggressive, borderline assassin, really, on the Tryndamere, is you just want to be able to keep them at arm's length. You want to keep them shoved under their tower. Like you can see here with Sumi, he's just going to get forced back, and Skate Rot going to go back to base, get this Lost Chapter, not even going to need to teleport due to the size of the wave. Is going to teleport, though, just so he can keep pressure on the map with the Rift Herald spawning, the Void Grub spawning up, the Dragon spawning up. Looks like that's going to be where the attention is, and are we going to see a handshake here for those objectives, or are we going to see a potential fight?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised, especially now we're level 6, to see attention being played to the grubs. What I really like, as far as grubs go at least, is the value of that buff on split pushing teams, or teams that can split push. So a champion like Tryndamere, for example, or like the Yorick's that you're seeing is a bit more popular in solo queue as well. Having these grubs is so valuable. Like it's crazy. Like if you get 3, 4, and 4 is what you need to spawn the little dudes that come out and help you push. Like it's so insane. Like the amount of extra damage that you get. Oftentimes, especially if you've got like a high amount of grubs, like you're on like 5 or 6 grubs, you're taking a tower, you see that number stack up, and it's like 600-700 extra damage on a tower push, which is ridiculous. Like it's absolutely insane. And Trinity will absolutely benefit from that. So I fully agree with the decision here from both teams, to be honest, to prioritize the different sides of the map. And those grubs, especially in the split pushing scenario, can be very valuable.
Well, looks like Fresh Fruit is going to... Fruity Fresh, sorry, wrong way around. Is going to be... Yeah.
Wow, what a name.
The fruit salad, eh? I like Fresh Fruit. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, who doesn't like fresh fruit?
True.
Honestly, to be fair.
I'm a big mango enjoyer myself.
Nah.
What?
Mango, more like no.
Oh, get out of here. What's your favourite?
I like raspberries, bro. Raspberries, strawberries.
Strawberry?
Strawberries.
Strawberry sounds like a town in England.
It probably is.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
Is. Strawberry is absolutely a town in England.
Probably closer to your ends than mine, though.
Probably. Moving back to that was honestly the poshest thing I've ever done. Laughing to agree with you. Oh god, I actually hate myself right now. Back onto the game and not my self-loathing. Bucci jumping in on to Elijah. Elijah is going to get himself kidnapped back. Has the ultimate though and doesn't even need to use it. Bitesy shows up. And he's quite happy here. I say that, he gets ulted. He's going to have to flash back. Has himself the ultimate. Gets a whole bunch of damage down onto Bitesy. Bitey's going low. Bucci finds the kill. Beautifully played.
It took one game for the Bucci gang to come back online, and here he is on the Cassandra. His first kill with the help from his friends in bits as well there. That was pretty close. That honestly looked a bit like a solo queue scrap, didn't it? I don't really mean that as an insult either, but it was like so back and forth, and then people overextending, like, oh, I can do this. They move forward, they get... Yeah, it just... Oof, it was close, though. It was close. Elijah almost got the kill for himself there. But yeah, that is going to be a kill over to Bucci instead. It just seems so frustrating to play into Cassante and like knowing that you're just never really going to have an advantage over him at any point in the game, right? It feels so difficult. Like if this guy was a Malphite, for example, it's like, oh yeah, that's cool. If I get some armor pen, I'll probably be okay. When he's not got his ultimate up, he's not really a threat. Kasane doesn't seem to have that. He's always a threat. He's always a problem. Asumi now, jumping forward, getting a little bit of a trade on Skate Rock, but this isn't exactly what he wants. His ultimate is available, so we want to see him stack up some rage and then dive forward. And if Skate Rock's a little far from home, he's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, he only had a Vamp Scepter though, so not really got too much damage coming in.
That's fair. Got to get that Bork first.
Yeah, you really need that to kind of get the damage off. But Fruity Fresh got himself the buildings of a Blackfire Torch, so wave control going to be very, very much under his belt pretty much at this point. That Lost Chapter, major spike for the Ziggs in lane. Just basically means he has enough AP, enough mana just to hold the wave wherever he wants it. And we'll have that Blackfire Torch even sooner, and at which point it's just going to absolutely melt through the waves. We actually see a Tiamat here for Sumi, so getting this item to kind of answer out for the shove of Skate Rot, so it's not actually going to be the Bork build, it's going to be a
Ravenous
Hydra, yeah. A complete brain fart on the name of the item there. But it does mean that, yeah, as you can see, we'll be able to kind of deal with the wave, because Skate Rot on this mage is going to be able to really cut through the wave quickly.
I mean, this could potentially still be a Bork, but just chucking in a Tiamat. But yeah, let's not overthink it too much. It's probably that Ravenous Hydra, which is very good for that split pushing game that we've kind of hinted at Tryndamere will probably be doing as this game goes on. That extra survivability or sustain, I should say, as you're pushing a side lane, really does keep that pressure up. I mean, there's never really any downtime. There's now Bits or Bitsy. I'm not really sure how we say this guy's name. It is Bitsy.
I don't know. I'm just going to say
I prefer Bitsy.
Don't take my word for it, though. I have a history of not naming players right.
That is true. You do call Shihan Shinanan and things like that.
There's a lot of bad name calling coming in from me. As Fastleg gets a really good ult off and freshly fruited, able to secure himself that kill. What is wrong with me?
Was that not intentional?
No.
Jesus, Jake.
Another
great hook.
And this time, Namex is going to find himself in a bit of trouble. Does get the ult down, and Fastleg is going to fastly make sure that Namex gets away with a beautiful flash. The hook goes wide, and for the first time in the history of League of Legends, a Nautilus hook doesn't hit.
Wow. I don't know what happened there. Maybe a chrono break or something. Might need to look into that one. Oh, Fruity Fresh is able to sidestep the roam here, though, from the Hui. And that's a really, really good 2v2 down there. You don't really consider a Ziggs lane to be much of a kill lane, but when you've got Nautilus by your side, you can hit hooks like that. Here we go. Big fight.
Oh, they're in trouble. Getting absolutely cooked. Uses the ultimate, but in comes Fruity Fresh. Bitsy's able to get one. Maybe looking for a little bit more. Not able to quietly find onto that one. As now Snubby finding the turnaround. We do see the end of the jungler, though. So this is just going to be Sumi's moment to go. He's got the ghost. He's got the ult. He's got Snabby. He's about to eat forwards. Gets himself a second kill. That is a 4-0 Tryndamere. Sumi is a bit of a problem.
Oh dear. DMG weren't liking that. That very first play of the game, going over to them and quieting down the Tryndamere. Yeah, that's a distant memory now. 4-0-0 for Tryndamere. It is... you don't want to see a fed Tryndamere in any game, solo queue or even professional. It doesn't matter. It's a tough one to deal with right here. See how he leverages this one, though, because this is part of the reason why you don't see Tryndamere in mid lane that much, because it's such a short lane and Tryndamere needs to run people down.
Yeah.
But it's actually quite difficult to just endlessly farm champions and get loads of kills. So he might not be able to do that too much. Like, if this was like a top lane Tryndamere, for example, it would be a different story. It's still so much damage right here, and you would imagine at least the objectives from this point, you know, getting that second round of grubs as well. Shouldn't be able to contest that one if you're DMG at this point.
I'm going to give it to DMG. They weren't able to get that dragon. That's their second of the game. So like I said, even with a very big fight, they didn't actually get the health to be able to convert that into anything other than the 4 kills on Sumi. And Skate Rock didn't go down in the middle of the fight, so he was able to kind of hold the wave and keep them really from getting anything. And he's now at the point where he's got enough cooldown to be able to deal with those. As in comes the bomb from Fruity Fresh. Now Snarby's up on the menu, going down. The burn from the Blackfire will get it.
Bit of a whiff there on the Affiliate ulti. Sumi taking a bit of damage here, some love tapping. And this is the problem, though, with the Ravenous Hydra. I mean, none of this damage is going to stick. Look at this. If right clicks the wave, every single auto attack. And we're getting him
Elijah.
A huge amount of health.
He might be in a little bit of danger here. Trying to break up, bait out the Q, the Vault Breaker. Is actually going to successfully avoid them going for the dive, and is going to now be able to step back and get himself to a safer position while the rest of the team rotate around. So Lightside played that pretty well. That could have gone bad on the top end, but able to hold off. But Bitsy is going to be able to convert this into a Rift Herald for his team. It doesn't look like Lightside are really going to be able to do too much about that.
I think this is a bit of a mistake as well, a lost opportunity for Lightside. These are the kind of fights and the kind of things that you absolutely would like to contest with a 4-0 Tryndamere. These small skirmishes, these small fights, especially... Oh, make sure you get the eye.
There we go.
There you go. especially early on into the game. Yeah, Tryndamere would thrive in this kind of environment, but Lightside just a little bit too slow getting back on the map, not able to contest it instead. There's no real shame or pain in having your Tryndamere and such, and your whole team, to be honest, scale up a little bit at this point, so you don't have to contest. But like I say, I think it's a bit of a missed opportunity, not really getting the most out of Tryndamere, who has now finally started, already, to be honest, with 50 minutes into the game, already started his split pushing campaign, going to the bot side of the map, pushing down that wave. The Ziggs now taking the role of the mid laner.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty rough because, like you said, the main thing that Tryndamere wants is a long lane, and he's now in that long lane. Bucci does have himself the Frozen Fist, so does have some armor to work with, but I do worry that even so, a 4-0 Sumi, he's going to be a real nuisance right now, stealing the red buff away and everything from Bitsy and denying that from DMG. A red buff Tiamat Tryndamere at this point, that's going to be quite scary for Bucci.
Well, very much so, yeah, that's true. Like, just taking away the jungle by itself is a real pain for DMG, and yeah, not taking into consideration the value you get out of the red buff, the slow that comes through with those auto attacks. He's just moving around the entire map, just picking up every single bit of farm. I'd like to see him maybe even take more jungle, to be honest, and just be a bit more aggressive at taking that all away from Bitsit. Like, I don't think there's really too much that DMG would be able to do about that. And instead, he's moved back to the top side and leaving Elijah to match into Bucci down bot. Let's see. I don't think there's too much happening as far as these plays go. I'd like to see a bit more pressure from Tryndamere. This kind of like walking around, flirting a little bit with the potential play. I just don't really see the value in it, but he could be in trouble. I think he's getting collapsed on mid.
Yeah, looks like they might be going for it. It's going to be quite hard to get Tryndamere, though, who's almost got that flash on ult. Meanwhile, top side action's going to be breaking out. Snavi goes down. They got the lockdown onto Namex as well. But Namex is doing quite a lot of damage here to bot Holdy. Got himself the red-white goodnight guns. He's going to send them packing. Bucci teleported to make sure that this play didn't go too bad for Namex.
Saw Sumi just spin towards Bucci as well in the mid lane when that teleport was being channeled. Unfortunately, no crowd control really for Tryndamere, at least no hard crowd control to stop the teleport. But a little bit of damage goes down instead. And now Sumi says, yeah, look, there's gold here, there's minions, I'll take that. I'll pick this one up, no problemo.
Yeah, quite comfortable, as we can see a lot of damage coming in on to Bitsy. Skaterot's able to get the kill. Didn't see exactly what happened there, but Elijah's dead is the long and short of it.
I mean, to be honest, it's the downside of having a champion like Varus in this long lane. Like, we've talked about the length of the lanes quite a lot already this game, haven't we, Jake? And usually
a little bit.
In respective to Tryndamere and what he wants to do and where he wants to go and how he can be his most... how he can be at his best. Varus is the opposite. Varus doesn't want a long lane. He wants a shorter lane, because the further he has to walk out, the easier it is to kill him. He's a squishy champion. He has no escapes, no protection. And to be honest, that's exactly what happened there. You know, you saw where he died. He was kind of where the where DMG's outer turret would have been if it was still up. Like, he's just a sitting duck down there. And it's so tough. Like, I don't think this is particularly good. Yeah, I'm not sure this lane assignment is great here, to be perfectly honest with you, Jake.
I don't think Sumi had bought for a while, because on that death, he got a Phantom Dancer. So he had sitting on a lot of money, which definitely did not sit in his favor there, but they are going to be able to trade turret here. Mid-lane turret, I believe, did crumble there to Fruity Fresh, but with the Herald, they're going to charge in onto this top tier 2, and remember, these are worth a whole lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
Will be divided between 3 people. They do cut down the wave, and maybe that's going to be enough to hold it. Fastleg's making his way over, looks for the hook, is able to get it, gets himself the knockup. They get a whole bunch of damage off here from the Ziggs. They got the burn as well. Everybody burning low. Nobody under any real threat as Fastleg was unable to defend that tower.
Dragon in the pocket of Lightside. It's not a great, a big thing for Lightside itself to take that dragon, but it is a good denial over for DMG, since they would have been on soul point if they were able to pick it up. But unfortunately, yeah, like, the downside of a champion like Tryndamere having all your kills, at least in that situation, he was like, if you can put him down, then that's so much pressure alleviated from the map, and Lightside weren't really able to put too much down on the other side. I feel like we are focusing a lot on light side's perspective, but to be honest, it's just what happens when you see a Tryndamere mid and Varus top and these kind of things. I think it's quite exciting to look at and definitely outside of the norm. But obviously DMG at this point, 20 minutes into the game, they do have that gold lead. They've got two dragons as well. Their Huades now, like pretty much across the board, everyone on their team has more or less got 2 items as well. They've really hit a nice spike, and Bitsu especially has done a great job of getting plays and making plays happen across the map. 100% kill participation so far on that buy.
Yeah, Sumi able to take that top lane tower. In the meanwhile, Bitsy unable to stop Sumi from taking that one. As now you've got the Terminus, you've got the Seeker's arm guard onto Elijah.
Oof.
Looks like they're trying to break a fight out. Bootsy's chasing forwards. It's going to kidnap away onto one. The bomb only hits onto one from Fruity Fresh. The box comes down and they get a whole bunch of damage off, but Sumi still got his ultimate, still got his flash. Slows Bitsy down and now jumps into the mix. Fruity Fresh finds himself in a bit of danger. They're putting a whole lot of damage down. Sumi pops the ultimate. He's just trying to stay alive, put some damage out, but he's not going to be able to get too much as Bitsy takes him down. But holding out, making a break for it. DMG. Beautiful fight there. Managed to really scatter the 2 carries. They do lose the tower for that though.
It was a 5v4 really at the end of the day though, because Elijah was just sitting down bot, as you say, taking that tower. Good bit of news there for Lightside being able to get a tower on the back of it, but yeah, this should just be a pretty simple secure here for DMG, but Oldie is in a bit of trouble, will be falling. Yeah, no contest there, an extra kill over to the Aphelios as well. Bad news bears for Lightside. This game just got a little bit ugly, the loss of that Nash.
Yeah, that was a really rough loss there on that one. As I mean, again, it kind of comes down to the fact Elijah wasn't there. He was taking a bot lane tower. He did get it. So, not a total loss. It really comes down to what they're going to be able to gain with this Baron. But the fact that went from a pretty good teamfight victory to a Baron to an additional kill onto Bartholdy, slowing his reset down onto the map, that's pretty favorable for the side of DMG, all things said. I know that's the most obvious sentence in the world, but yeah, overall does come up in their favor. Elijah does finish up his Zhonya's Hourglass, and now the Terminus and the Zhonya's finished up onto this very hybrid build of the Varus that we see. Have to keep our eyes on what Elijah can do, because if he's there for a fight, he is pretty scary.
Can he get through the likes of Bucci in that front line? Because Bucci's running havoc across the whole team for DMG here, making it exceptionally hard for Lightside to play. They just don't really have the damage for him. I think this is the difficulty when you've got like a Ziggs as your ADC. He's not going to be putting out enough consistent damage to bring down the likes of a Cassante. Like, yeah, he's got the burn, which is good versus tanks, but it's not enough when you compare it to, like, the consistent DPS of an ADC, which is why I think they're bringing Sumi into these team fights, hoping that he can maybe deal with it. I think that might be the logic. But bringing Sumi into the team fights, I think, is just a big mistake in and of itself. Sumi was 4-0, now he's 4-2-0. Like, he's not been able to do anything in these fights at all when he's been grouping. It's just not worked. So yeah, a bit of a rock and a hard place here. Like, I do have to say, I think Lightside maybe just not really executing their team comp particularly well, in the sense that they don't want to be taking these fights. A lot of what their team comp is about is keeping the enemy team at bay, but instead opting into these big, scrappy scups. Yeah, he could be in trouble here.
Has got the ultimate, is actually playing this pretty slow and steady. I was about to say, DMG overall haven't found much with this Baron. Sumi able to find himself the kill. Beautiful play there. Don't know if that's going to be able to translate into a tower, but the Dragon is getting started up by DMG, so way he's too far away. There's no way Sumi's going to be able to get much out of that.
And suddenly, Sumi, when he's in a side lane, when he's, matching into this way, it's a great matchup for him. When you're in that long lane, it's really good stuff. Gets that kill, easy as you like. Fortunately, probably not going to be able to get too much else out of it, but this feels a lot more like what Lundqvist Lightside wanted to do with this pick here. how they're going to find success with this
nice.
team conquers. This could be a good little engage here.
Yeah, they go for everything. They're going to get the damage down from the Really Fresh with the ultimate. Elijah gets an ult off of the multiple people. Hook comes down. Bitsy goes down to Elijah. 3-man knockback comes in, though, from Bucci. And that capitalizes into a double kill for Namex. Sumi can't really do anything but watch. It started so good for Lightside, but it answered out.
Is the way flank as well. They want more.
Yeah, can Freaky Fresh do this? He does have a bit of mana to work with. Getting some of that burn off. The ult connects. Is now in danger. Slowed, flashed away. Flash hook onto him. Down he goes. Namex unstoppable. 5-1 on the Aphelios.
It was quite quiet, wasn't it, for Aphelios in most of this game, and now he picked up 3 kills, I think, in that team fight. 500 gold bounty to his name, 250 CS as well. He's very, very big, very strong. And this Tryndamere pick that was used to play into these low mobility, squishy carries, suddenly now he has to deal with 2 of them. It's not just the way on his mind instead. Namex has to respect that, though, as does the rest of DMG coming through from that peel. As soon as he decides to group, he will still be able to bring Namex down despite how strong he is.
Elijah 2 levels down on Virtue, even with all that time he spent away from the team farming. Struggling to really achieve too much down there. Has got himself now a Verdant Barrier. This is like a full defensive build with a bit of shred in there. It's a really interesting build from the Varus, but I worry he's very far behind at the moment. Has been able to close the level gap by 1, but Bucci's finished up an entire item, got himself the Randoman's Omen, and, you know, Jack Show, Randoman's Omen, Frozen Fist, like, Sumi is going to struggle with Bucci here now. Bucci does reveal himself. Sumi maybe try and play a little bit of a bait game. They have potential that Holdy might come around on a flank, but there is a ward, I believe, that did see their movements, so could get a little bit dicey. Sumi's just going to be clearing out this vision, clearing out these wards. Are they going to try and kill Bucci is the question.
I think the answer is yes. Here comes the Sejuani. Comes this 2v2.
He's just not doing all that much damage, but finally the passive stacks are coming in. They're going to be able to get the lockdown onto Bucci. Bucci goes away with a steal. The up part Holdy holds him in place. Sumi trying to close that gap onto Bucci. Bucci gets the knockback onto the both of them as he is doing absolutely monstrous amount of damage to Bart Holdy, who gets the ult on. But Bucci, 1 versus 2, forces the flash. Sumi chasing for more, and now the rest of the team have come through and saved the day. But Holdy limps away, but Bucci, how do you deal with this Cassante?
That's just so gross. That's so hideous. The fact that he can survive that. I mean, Tryndamere needs some armor pen. Obviously, I guess this is his next item. He's going to have to go for that Lord Doms. But, like, it's just gross. Like, even when Cassante shreds his resistances to turn into his, you know, damage form, it's still, it's too much. It's gross. Tackling Cassante in the side lane, always difficult to do. It really does nullify what Tryndamere wants to do here if they can't actually bring him down. Because that would have been a great pick right as his Nash spawns as well, right? And then you put DMG in a rock and a hard place between whether they have to answer Sumi bot side or stick around the Nash. Fortunately, none of that's going to happen. Bucci gang coming through strong.
Yeah, very, very scary, Bucci. It's going to take... Sumi really needs a Lord Doms, like you said, to be able to handle it. But you also really want to get the Navori as soon as possible so you can spin. There's just a lot on his shopping list, and he's a bit of a ways away from getting all of what he needs. It's doing a lot of damage, just not to the tank, unfortunately.
We'll see how this one progresses here, because I think even if... Well, I'd say if you put Tryndamere out of a team fight, but also you take Cassante out as like a trade and it's a 4v4, I'd say that, generally speaking, would work in the favor of the team with the Tryndamere. Right, like, yes. I think it's a good trade. Get rid of Tryndamere, but also get rid of the enemy Cassante. But at this point, I think Sumi is the only one who can deal with the all the damage coming through from the likes of Aphelios. We're going to get a fight here.
They're going in. Backline, Sumi jumps immediately in, but gets Vault Breaker. Has the ultimate, is feared. He's CC locked as Bucci is in the middle of everyone. But Holdy going low. So they're able to get themselves a kill. Joe's in for the re-engage, and down they go. Lightside have nothing. Bucci is everything for his team. Down goes Elijah, pops himself the stopwatch, but that is not going to do you anything. Namex tidies the fight up. Bucci is an absolute demon this game.
insane. Just unstoppable. Jumping in. 1 versus 4. He is everything that Sumi wishes he could be. And he's a tank, for goodness sake. He's meant to be a tank at least. Takes down 2 members. Doesn't die. Yeah, this is soul as well here for DMG. So if he can steal this.
They know he's there.
Oh,
the sweeper revealed him. But holding,
come on.
He's actually buying quite a lot of time. That is the good
going
news.
For it.
He's going for it.
He gets it.
No way. He's able to get it. He will go down. No way he's surviving this one. Namex is legendary. The sweeper revealed him from Bitsy. But at what cost?
Good try. Good try. Well, and successful, I suppose. We didn't quite get away with it. Wasn't quite solid Snake style, but does still able to, you know, take it away from DMG. This will be Baron though on the docket now for DMG. Lightside just trying to buy a little bit more time in this scenario, but it's so difficult because I just don't think you really realistically have the answer for Bucci on this Kazante. You know, I would say potentially like someone like a Varus could do it, but this kind of build isn't exactly a DPS, you know, like a tank killing build. It's much more of this like just annoying side lane Varus type thing, which obviously isn't going to work out this game. The Lord Doms has come through for Tryndamere, but if Tryndamere is attacking Bucci, then who's diving onto Namex? Who's diving onto Skate Rot? And if you're not diving onto those people, then you're going to lose the fight anyway. So it's a tough one. It's a really tough one here. How do you deal with Bucci? You're going to have to find a fight where he's not involved.
It has to be really good kiting otherwise, and using the Ziggs burns to whittle him down. But you got to do that versus a Vi who can basically guarantee lockdown anyone other than Elijah, because they got to pop the Banshees and the Zhonyas first. Anyone else gets locked down. The hard engage is just guaranteed from that Vi. Bucci can then just decide whoever he wants to take is who he takes, and yeah, it's so rough for them. As you can see, they're trying once again on Bucci on the bot lane. You can see he's actually starting to go a little bit low, but Sumi also going low. Hopefully the camera goes down bot side to where that action is. As it does look like Bucci may actually kill Sumi off on our screens. Sumi has to pop the ultimate, but Holdy comes in for the turnaround.
So stupid.
Sumi got a full heal up. That champion is not okay, by the way. That is ridiculous.
I don't know, man. It's just I'm getting tilted just watching this. It's so silly. Like, I guess the light side trying to go for it. They're trying to help out Sumi in that side and to create the 4v5, but it's not happening in DMG here. Obviously, able to push in that 4 versus 3 situation. DMG very strong, knocking down the doors of victory.
Now's their time to
here.
fight. They missed the R from Elijah. As I said, that's like, this is the perfect opportunity, so they go for the flash, they go for the hook. Skate Rot is going to get himself hit as the teleport's coming in. Fast leg goes down to Namex, too much damage. Bucci does get a bit of damage on the way in, thanks to the bombs from Fruity Fresh, but Holdy back with his team, but no fast leg for 36 seconds. They get a bunch of damage off onto Snarby, or at least enough to lock him down. Hook goes wide. Snarby losing a little bit of HP from Fruity Fresh, but light side, they are defending versus 2 waves of supers that are getting baroned up, and Sumi losing half his health to the tower from the Aphelios is just too rough for him. Can they hold him any longer is the question.
There's only one more lane left from light side face.
Sumi!
My goodness. Just like that, instantly having to pop his ulti. It's looking pretty doomed here, Jake, I'd say, for light sides. They're going to have to do one last epic stand. Nothing's left. Baron is up, working in DMG's favor.
It's going to have to be a miracle. Coming in, the bomb goes down. Snarby loses a lot of HP. Sumi's going to try and get some damage off onto him as they do get the root down. But Holdy going to be able to trade out 1-for-1 so far. Sumi stepping away. Bitey going low. The burns could be enough, but there's so much damage from Namex. How do you handle it? How do you handle Bucci? Waves are getting cleared though by the Ziggs. And Lightside, it was rough, but they were somehow able to weather the storm. But Soul's about to spawn. All of their inhibitors are down. Can they hold any longer?
You'd imagine one more minute, as you mentioned, for that Soul for DMG. They'll make a play around that dragon. There's nothing that Lunqua's Lightside can do to stop that. I don't think I told you, even go for the steal this time around, because if he dies, it's probably just GG. Instead, you got to find that perfect fight. It all kind of begins and ends with this man on your screen right now with Sumi. Can he draw someone towards him in that side lane, namely
not
Bucci?
that person. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess
this
it's
is it. You want
him.
him there. You don't want to fight him. You want him there, right? I mean, ideally, Namex would be the one here picking up this side lane. If you're light side, that'd be great. Free pickings there, but I don't think that's going to happen. But if Bucci's in the side lane and then Sumi can get a roam, maybe you can get a team fight win off. Bucci doesn't have teleport at this point, right? So that could be your Hail Mary. It's going to be difficult though, as DMG now picking up the soul as well.
Bucci, he's in the area. Sumi. I assume that this is going to be a balk, and if he has it, maybe the 1v1 can happen, but he does not, and Bucci just running Sumi down. Sumi is able to escape and move away to safety. We can see the Leandries in the build here, or at least on the way for Elijah. At the moment, just got the Haunting guys. And it is just a waiting game for that one big team fight. That defining moment for either team. Lightside have a lot of work to do if they want to hold this one.
Yeah, there's no poke either, really, right? If you're Ziggs, I mean, Varus isn't built for poke for starters, but yeah, the flank doesn't work out.
He might have to ult. He's in danger. There's the ultimate, but they're going to look for him. They're going to put a whole bunch of damage in. He's not back. There's no way Sumi's going to be able to survive this one. Spins away to safety. There's a fight breaking out on the bottom side, but we're watching Sumi.
Whoa.
I want to see what's happening in the base. They're over there. Looks like they've been able to defend and get away. Sumi survives. No ult, no ghost, though. That's going to be so hard for this next bit.
Yeah, exactly as you say.
Escape Rot's able to survive. Bitesy trying to stay alive for the moment. Sumi's putting some damage onto him, but holding. Namex gets ulted. Bitesy just taking no damage as Elijah doing a lot to Bucci on the meanwhile as Sumi gets jumped in by Bitesy. They get himself a hook off onto him, but down goes the jungler. Down goes the towers. Down goes the Nexus. DMG have done everything they needed. Bucci is unkillable. Triple kill. Picked up for Namex. Quadra kill for Namex to end it. What a game from DMG.
14-1-5 Namex ended there on that Aphelios. That is a gross scoreline. So much damage coming through here. It's I mean, ridiculous that he's 14-1-5, and I feel like we didn't really talk about him that much because, you know, it was just Bucci doing hideous things, you know, diving into entire teams, not dying, being unkillable in the side lane as well. Every time Lightside tried to attack him with the Trinity Message running combo, yeah, just if you're not able to generate that pressure point on the side lane with your Tryndamere, then that Tryndamere pick isn't going to be very useful. And to be perfectly honest, he got 4 kills early. We were like, yeah, that's beautiful. That's great. 4 kills Tryndamere early. Let's see what he can do. The answer was nothing. Absolutely nothing. Does not work.
That felt very, very hard for them to be able to pull back. But we are going to throw ourselves over to a quick break, and then we'll be back with our game number 3. So we'll see you in a moment.